What is up, guys? My name is Limes and this is RoI Talk episode 4. Now today's topic is an interesting one. I'm going to be talking about the game balance and how this affects RoI. But firstly, I want to talk a little bit about Kaos, as I have gotten a few messages regarding what I think about less how he plays and more his character per se. There's been a lot of hoorah about the fact that he doesn't fit in the theme that RoI has, or that his character is too, I guess, close to what we have in real life. So I want to read out this message I got from someone. This message is from someone called Alex251 on YouTube, and he says,
"The main thing I just want in there is that I feel that he's a bit out of place. I know that's kind of the point, but they just said they were getting a general theme coming together, and then they made this guy. You never try to bring Earth into a game like this, no matter what screwy story you have of other dimensions."
Other dimensions being in all caps.
"Plus, how the crap is he even immortal? In a fantasy game with swords and stuff, Balak's sniper rifle doesn't count. Every fantasy dwarf has a gun. A US Marine
being in all caps
doesn't seem all that fitting. Also throwing a jab at Conan's voice. I know they got plenty of it already, but they need to learn. And the most important thing, RoI shouldn't deny harsh criticism on their comment sections and stuff. When they stop listening to their fans like that, you lose the connection with them. Sure, not all things can be praise and glory, but you gotta take all forms of comments, harsh or nice. Hell, just taking all the criticism only makes you look stronger and improves your image and thus helps long-term success."
Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I don't really fully agree with this. He does make some valid points in saying that Kaos doesn't really fit as a US Marine, but I think if you kind of look past that that first video that Petroglyph gave us of Kaos saying that he was a US Marine, he kind of fits anyway. I mean, his character is... the character model itself doesn't really harken to a real human being. It still has kind of the crazy proportions that you would expect to see in Rise of Immortals, and like even his weapon doesn't really look anything like an actual gun that you would see on an actual battlefield. So in response to that, I kind of think he fits. I mean, a lot of people saying that he doesn't and he shouldn't because he's a US Marine, but like these past few weeks since his release, he's kind of just fit in like a lot of the other Immortals. I mean, he just kind of... he looks like Balak, I guess. Like, there isn't really a definitive theme in terms of character design set for Rise of Immortals. There's certainly the theme of crystals that they're trying to push further with the new creeps and such. But definitely with Immortals themselves, I don't think there is a definitive, this is what Immortals must be like. And I think that's good. I mean, it keeps a lot of options open, and I don't think they should limit themselves in that regards. As for Conan, yeah, his voice is actually pretty trashy. There's no denying that. Personally, I don't mind his voice. I mean, I do a little bit of voice work myself, obviously. If you've ever been on my stream, you've probably heard my horrible attempts at dubbing things, but I don't really see the issue with it. Like, I mean, it's a Conan. I guess that's just how he is. It certainly fits with his character fluff. Petroglyph said in one of their podcasts that he is meant to be a rebel and he's a teenager. He's a teenage lightning bolt. And the kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles voice that they gave him, I think, is hilarious. What else did you say? Criticism, taking criticism. Petroglyph does take criticism, but I kind of get the idea that they don't really take criticism from their YouTube account and the videos that they put up, and there's kind of a reason for that. It's because if you don't really know, a lot of Rise of Immortals videos actually get posted on like League of Legends forums and Heroes of New Earth forums, and they just get slandered from those communities. So I guess Petroglyph knows where to look for the constructive criticism, and it's definitely not their YouTube videos, it's definitely the forums. So in regards to responding to criticism, yeah, they do, when it's actually valid. And on the YouTube video, the forums are definitely the place to take valid criticism, not YouTube comments. So with that out of the way, we move on to the actual topic today, which is game balance. I'm not going to really talk about the specifics of the RoI game balance because it literally changes every month, but more about the game balance in general and how they balance, how they should balance, why they balance, and what they're balancing around, because a lot of people don't really realize that. I'm going to start with that actually. What do we balance the game around? Now, the simple answer to this is the highest tier players of the game. Now, a lot of people get annoyed at this phrase of we balance for the highest tier play, because it kind of comes across as we're balancing this game for competitive play and we're ignoring the rest of the community. This isn't actually true. What it's saying is we're balancing this so that the people who get amazing at the game don't absolutely destroy other people with the imbalances that they find. Maybe even not destroy other people, but just get destroyed or could just hit a block where they can't actually get better because the balance isn't right. Now, having said that, Rise of Models is definitely balanced around higher tier play. I'm not going to say high tier play because I don't really think there is a massively high tier play in Rise of Models because it is quite small, but higher tier play. So definitely the top 100 players in the game is what you want to be balancing the game around. A good example of this in Rise of Models itself is the Nisus versus Balak argument. Now, a lot of the time you see that Balak is kind of regarded as the better range carry out of the two. I'm going to ignore Kaos because I don't really know where he stands in terms of the other two ranged carries. But Nisus compared to Balak, Balak is seen as the better of the two. And this is mainly because Balak is actually a little bit better at lower level play. Now, if you've played Nisus, you will know that a lot of her abilities and even her damage is based around this idea that of her stacks from her soul shield ability. If you don't know, every time Nisus gets a kill, either a creep kill or an immortal kill, she gains a stack. What this stack does is it increases her auto attack damage by about 2.5, I believe. So fairly small, but it does add up. It also powers up her soul shield ability, which is her shield obviously, and also her ultimate. So this kind of idea that a lot of her utility and offensive or defensive capabilities are built around this idea of building and managing stacks means that she is quite a higher skill cap character to play compared to Balak. Balak, of course, is fairly similar to Nisus, except he doesn't have this stack mechanic on his abilities, so he's fairly easy to play. So you kind of saw when Balak was free for a very long time, a lot of people just taking Balak because he was regarded as better, when really if you actually do the math, which trust me, I've done the math, Nisus actually does quite a bit more damage, especially because of the stacks and her active passive toggle ability, which is similar to Balak's premium powered bullets, which is her Hellfire arrows. Instead of giving a flat increase, it's a percentage increase, so it adds up, does a bit more damage. So you've kind of got this stack kind of sub-metagame on Nisus, where you have to manage your stacks, use your stacks appropriately. Should I use the shield, should I use my ultimate, or should I just auto-attack, stuff like that. And that's imperative to playing Nisus well. And if you play a Nisus well, she is potentially better than Balak. This is the kind of idea that you want to balance for higher tier. Let's say if Nisus was balanced so that she was fairly easy to play, but had the same mechanics. Let's say that you didn't lose stacks when you used your ultimate, or you didn't lose stacks when you used your soul shield. you only lost stacks, let's say, when you died or something like that, she would be ridiculously powerful because you don't have to manage your stacks. You don't have to go, do I want to have a burst of damage but then have less auto attack damage, or do I want a defensive shield but then again have less auto attack damage, or do I just want to auto attack but then not have an ultimate or a soul shield usable because I want to keep these stacks. It's kind of that stack management which makes her harder to play but makes her better, and this is kind of the way you want to balance for that higher tier, because at lower tier, like mid-level play, Nisus isn't as good because she isn't played as good. Another thing I want to talk about is balance and persistence. Now, one thing that Rise of Models uses a lot is the idea of persistent characters. Now, this has kind of bit itself on the arse a little bit with team compositions kind of being a bit trashy in pub games, but I guess that's just what you get when you use this kind of system. But it's similar with the idea of balancing for the highest level of play. You want to also balance for the highest level. This was easily prominent back during beta when hardly anyone hit level 50, and again, even hardly anyone hit their signature level. So the game wasn't really tested around the idea of having full discipline points, having full mastery slots, having your signature and stuff like that. So a lot of the signatures were actually fairly overpowered or underpowered in the case of Zai. So this idea of balancing around your highest level, again, you want to balance around level 50 at highest level play, because anything lower than that, if you're balancing at a fairly medium level of both persistence and player, as soon as someone gets above that level, which always happens, there's always someone who is amazing at a game, just you have to assume that. As soon as someone gets above that level, they enter the point where the game is imbalanced, either for their favor or out of their favor, and that is bad, just full stop, straight up bad. You do not want that. So that's kind of where persistence and actual player performance kind of connects. The final thing I have in my notes in front of me here is pay to win versus pay for convenience. This isn't really a game balance topic, but it kind of is on the terms of the persistence layer that Rise of Models has. You see the term pay to win get thrown around, especially in the free-to-play market. Free-to-pay, may as well be called that, it's the same thing. You see the pay-to-win versus pay-for convenience terms thrown around. Pay-to-win is basically the idea that a paying customer is basically more powerful in the game than a non-paying customer, and the non-paying customer has no chance of getting up to the same level compared to the paying customer. Assuming they are both same skill level, the paying customer will always be better. This pay to win is bad, just straight up bad, but a lot of people confuse it with pay for convenience, which is what you see in pretty much every single free-to-play title out there. If it's not pay to win, it's pay for convenience. Rise of Immortals, I would say, is definitely still pay for convenience, although there are some glaring issues with the current system. One of the obvious ones being the fact that you can buy artifacts and artifacts with petroglyph points? Yes, petroglyph points. This is kind of an issue because you can pay real money to gain in-game bonuses. If you've played League of Legends, you can't actually buy runes, which is the equivalent of artifacts, with real money. You have to use in-game currency, and that's great. I mean, that's just the only thing that paying gives you is convenience and cosmetics. In this game, it's kind of pushing it a bit with the paying for artifacts with real money, and especially recently with the new prestige potions which we've been given, which allow you to instantly level up to level 21 or 50, assuming you already have an immortal at that level. That is definitely still pay for convenience, as you need to have an immortal there, but it is kind of on the verge of I'm just gonna hit level 50 with all my models, and I don't know. It's definitely you can definitely discuss that. I mean, there's probably a big debate behind it somewhere. But I guess that's just what I think about it. It's kind of on the verge. I don't really want to see RoI do anything more with granting paying customers any more advantages. Like, I'll admit I do pay like quite a bit to play Rise of Models. I put down money every now and then just because I want to. I like the game, but I certainly don't want to see the game turn into kind of a pay-to-win game like Combat Arms or something like that. But I honestly don't see Petroglyph really going that route anytime soon, which is good. And that's all I have, I believe, for this episode of RoI Talk. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I am trying to get these episodes out a lot regularly, but because of school at the moment, I do have a lot of work to do, and priority first is definitely school over these episodes. So I'll try to get these out as much as I can, but don't really expect anything. Apart from that, I hope you guys have enjoyed it. My name is Limes. I'll see you guys next time.